And developing now, we are waiting for President Obama to address the House Democrats in Cambridge, Maryland. With us now, Michael Feldman is a Democratic strategist and joins us from New York. Hey, Mike, thanks so much for being with us.
Sure, thank you.
I'm sure that it was sort of a Democratic enjoyment to watch the Republican debate last night. This is what Karl Rove said earlier this week on Fox about watching the Republicans beating each other up.
Stop. Realize you're only doing damage to your own chances for the general election if we come limping out of here with a wounded nominee.
And that just continued. It even escalated last night. From the president's perspective, what about this matchup now between Gingrich and Mitt Romney, and who is going to be easier to take on? And there's been a lot of suggestion that going after Mitt Romney makes it very clear that the White House really wants to hurt Romney and make Gingrich the more likely nominee.
Well, look, I find myself in rare agreement with Karl Rove. You have, on one hand, the president in his State of the Union address and then in the travel he's done since then, talking about protecting the middle class, manufacturing, education, tax fairness. And on the other hand, juxtaposed to that, you have the Republican candidates beating themselves to a bloody pulp in Florida, talking about whose trustee has done a better job with their stock portfolio. So it is a very good juxtaposition for the president and for Democrats. And I think while I think Democrats hope that this goes on for a good long while, the fact is a lot of the damage has already been done. I mean, your NBC poll just the other day showed just the toll that this is taking on the Republican Party in general. The generic number is very bad for Republicans, but also for the potential nominees. The net negative numbers for Mitt Romney and for Newt Gingrich are way above where they should be, and I think that's probably got a lot of Republican operatives and strategists scratching their head and a little concerned right now.
I want to ask you about what the president faced when he arrived on the tarmac in Phoenix the other night and had that finger-pointing exchange with Jan Brewer. Initially, the governor said she didn't have a copy of this letter, but she handed him a letter, and we've got the letter now. And the letter said, we both love this great country, but we fundamentally disagree on how to best make America grow and prosper again. I'd love an opportunity to share with you how much we've been able to turn Arizona around. This is a whole new level of challenge to the president. Clearly, she was trying to put him on the spot and curry favor with her conservative voters in Arizona.
Sure, and she may curry favor with a narrow slice of the electorate in Arizona, but nationally this is not helpful to Republicans. Jan Brewer is a very controversial governor, especially among the Hispanic community, and I think there's one thing that all of us agree. We've been watching this for the last couple of days. Hispanic voters are the key to the election in 2012. My friend Mark McKinnon, who's a Republican strategist and someone who I respect very much, wrote a column the other day in the Daily Beast that talked about persuadable Republican voters. He has a term for them. He calls them los desilusionados, the disappointed. Republican voters, Republican strategists see that the Hispanic electorate is there is a sliver of the Hispanic electorate that is gettable in 2012. The Democrats see it, the president sees it, which is why a good deal of resources are being spent on reaching Hispanic voters, and he starts with a leg up there. But if Republicans fail to address that constituency, it will be to their detriment in 2012. And I think an incident like this may have an effect, again, among a narrow slice of the electorate in Arizona, but nationally is just not helpful to Republicans. I think actually the president comes out of that looking pretty well.
Still, the president goes into this caucus with the House Democrats shortly. He had fewer viewers actually watching the State of Union address than in the past, certainly fewer than in just a year ago. Has it become harder for the president to make his case to the public?
No, look, I don't think so. First of all, it was a large number. We can talk about, percentage of the American viewers who were watching that night. But it's not just who tunes in that night. And it was a sizable, within the tens of millions of viewers who were watching that night. Look at what the president.
Million.
Yeah, it's a huge number.
Million.
And look what the president has been doing in the last couple of days, going into key markets, amplifying that message. He's got his cabinet out in full force. The White House and the campaign are actually doing a very good job of making sure that it's not just the speech in the room, but people in markets across the country are hearing this message. And again, the most important thing the president did was walk in there and optimistically address the American people and tell them, we're actually headed in the right direction now. We're beginning to turn things around. And there's things we can do right now to actually make a difference in working people's lives. Again, That juxtaposed to the negativity and the bloodbath going on in the Republican primary right now, it's just a very, very troubling comparison. And I think, so it's not just the speech, it's all of the work that he's doing. He's now walking in momentarily to address what I would say is a united Democratic caucus. I think Democrats are more united than they've been in a very long time. And it's because they have a common foe. The Republican leadership in the House of Representatives is their common foe. And if you're running for re-election as a member of Congress who's up in 2012, or you're the President of the United States who's going to be in his own his own contest for re-election, that's your enemy.
Well, the conference is certainly one that Democrats are enjoying, watching the president out there campaigning and the Republicans going after each other with long knives. Mike Feldman, thanks so much. Good to see you.
Thank you. Good to see you, too.